Deyemi Okanlawon. Wow, that's pretty loaded. Okay, so I try to differentiate between who Deyemi Okanlawon is and who Deyemi the actor, is. Deyemi Okanlawon is this really quiet, introverted lover of books, music, movies. I mean, if you leave him alone in a house for weeks on end, he's having the time of his life. He's a family guy, tries to be a caring husband and father. Tries really hard. So that's him. He's the kind of person who just realizes that life is more than material things or the limelight, so to speak. Deyemi the actor, on the other hand, I don't even really like him. He's just always so busy. He's always off to some location somewhere, working. He's a bit of a workaholic. He has to be on the red carpet. He has to be in the interviews like this one. So in my head, those are two totally different people, and I try to keep them very separate and keep them away from each other. Okay, so the next 5-10 years, look, I'm a storyteller. Okay, I just happen to be one of those people. I've always been like this, actually. When I used to read books back as a kid, I used to picture myself as being one of the characters in the storybooks. So I tell stories by being involved in the story. And I know for a fact that I'm always going to do this one way or the other, either in front of the camera or behind the camera. So as long as I'm telling stories, I know that I'm going to be fulfilled. And that, for me, those long-term type plans, is really more about fulfillment than setting like hard, really hard goals. Okay, first film I ever did was a film called ZR7, The Red House 7. Right after that, I did A Grain of Wheat. Then I went ahead, I did a film with Tokunbo. So I've been in GIDI UP, An African City. I've been in Desperate Housegirls, Lekki Wives.
20 seconds up.
Is 20 seconds up? So interestingly enough, this interview has been very different from most that I've done. I've had to think. And so, yes, I get to be asked a lot of questions, the same questions. As a matter of fact, sometimes I turn down interviews when I get sent questions because I'm like, go do your research, answer these questions enough times. It can get a bit boring. One question that I don't think I've ever really been asked is how I got here. Really how I got here, not the fairy tale part of it. And because there's a lot that people don't know that I'm not particularly keen to share. So yeah.
So would you like to share?
No, I would not like to share. Okay, so a bit of background is I studied chemical engineering at the University of Lagos, but I was a sales rep while I was an undergrad. So the company that I worked with then, once I graduated, there was a vacancy for a manager position, and so my first job was as a sales manager in this small company. And that's how life just took me away from chemical engineering straight into sales and marketing for the next few years. Up until sometime in 2013, I was the head of marketing for one of the top 5 e-commerce companies in Nigeria. Then I quit my job to act full-time. Yes. Now, what people do not realize is that I come from a very strong Christian background. Since as far back as 2003, when I would say that I really became a Christian. I've always been actively involved in a church drama group. And so that was my training ground. That's where I spent about 10 years, doing different theater productions and just honing my skill. I didn't know that I was preparing for anything. I was just having, beyond fun, I was being fulfilled. It was for me ministry work, which, some people would call it a serious hobby. So I took it very, very seriously. And I took even that training into the workplace, and it sort of helped me. So I was able to go out in the workplace and earn a living, but still find fulfillment through acting and being part of those drama groups. By 2013, so actually by 2010, when I did my first film, it was obvious that I found absolute fulfillment in front of the camera. I'm on stage. That's I call it the highest vibration of myself when I'm on stage. That's the highest manifestation of me. And then I got in front of the camera, and I saw that was even a more expressive, so to speak, medium for me. So I knew instinctively that there was something gonna come out of it. I didn't know what. Fast forward to 2013, 2-3 years later, and I was getting these ridiculous offers to come work as an actor. I didn't think were possible. So I knew that there was something there for me. So I literally just took 1 year of work and said, you know what, I'm just gonna go do this thing so that when I get old, I can look back and tell my children, yes, can you see that film? I was once a hot guy. And then go back to work to earn a living. Now 3 years ago now, it was 2016, and I don't know that I can ever live any other kind of life. Yes. I think my earliest memory of acting was about 5 years old, in primary school place. And I remember my parents, being very proud of me, as a kid. And I think that actually helps when parents just show some level of pride when the kids do stuff. Over the years, I sort of have shown them that I can do this. They saw it as a hobby, right? And they saw that I was serious about it, and they were always very supportive. They would come to literally any show that I'm at, that I'm doing, and yes. But then I'm also very fiercely independent, and what that means is that I don't try to rock the boat. What I do is I give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? I show you results in my life the way you want it, but I'm also making sure that I'm getting fulfillment, from what I really want. So that what I did was went to university, studied chemical engineering. My father was an aircraft engineer, studied chemical engineering. And my mom was a business owner. So when I switched to sales and marketing, it came because I was always helping her, in her stores. And she saw that, she saw that was where that was coming from. My entrepreneurial side was coming from her. And so I never really have to tell my folks what I'm doing, as long as they feel, he's fine. So switching full-time into acting had nothing to do with my parents. They literally just found out, they found out months after, I quit my job, and they found me in a place where I was doing okay. So again, they weren't worried, they were like, oh, okay, what the hell should I do? Well, this is our song, My father is he's such a fanza. He goes to the bank and he's like, and then say when they look at his name, because his name's Is Deyemi Okanlawon as well. And then get to the bank and Deyemi Okanlawon, are you there? Yes, that's my son. I'm like, dude, man. So yes, I think that I think people should understand that as human beings we can do so many things, and at the same time, and we're such beings that we're called human beings. That means we can become anything that we want to be. So So let's not force ourselves into one thing. I mean, yes, your parents want you to do well, and you can't take that away from them. You know, they're your parents. They worry about you. They care about you. You know, so let's understand that even while we keep the secure life that they want, and that makes them worry free or stress free. We keep that intact. There's so many other things that we can do, and I'm a living testimony of that. Gone from chemical engineering to sales and marketing. Now I'm acting full time, and that's just some of the things that you know. What you don't know is that my mom owns a bakery, so I also bake. You don't know that I've been on the streets of Lagos selling everything from makeup to hair to t-shirts to whatever, distributing handbills, just because I wanted to create a life that I, was responsible for, as opposed to my parents being a part of. And that sort of gives you the respect, earns you the respect of your parents when they see that you go out to do things by yourself. You can't be asking for pocket money, on the one hand, and saying, I want to live out my dreams. On the other hand, you just got to take a bit of responsibility, and I think that's just about it. I think it's very important for everybody to be creative, and you can be creative in any aspect of life. You can be a biologist and still be a creative. It's all a creative process, and so when we talk about creativity, it's not limited to being in the arts. You know what I mean? However, I would say though that if you do want to be in the arts, if you want to be a creative person or be in the creative industry, that be in the creative industry. I get a lot of people asking me about wanting to be actors. They come up to me, I want to be an actor, it's my passion. No, really, that's so cool. That's actually my passion too, So what have you done? And they're like, oh, I've never acted before. And I'm like, so how do you know that that's your passion if you've never done it before? And that's that category of people. And other people come and they're like, okay, so I want to get into the business. Okay, so what exactly do you want? Do you want to act? Or do you want to make money? Or do you want to be famous? Because if you want to act, just stand in front of the mirror and act. And you're acting, you're acting. And if that's what gives you fulfillment, you're doing it. Find a place to do it. I literally tell people, walk into a church, ask about the drama group, be a part of the drama group, act. If you really want to act, you will act. Conversation of having a career in acting, that's a totally different conversation. You want to make money, you want to be famous, all that. I never ever thought about being famous or making money from acting. I didn't even think it was possible to make money from acting. When I first got offered 10,000 naira back then for my first gig, I was like, oh no, you're gonna pay me to act for real? Of course I didn't tell them because I'm sharp like that. So I took my money, I was like, okay, and I kept it aside, and I actually gave it to my mom. But that was so that's it. If you really want to be in the creative industry, and you feel that this is where you're supposed to be, find the time, be a part of it. You can be a weekend actor. I was a weekend actor for years, just find the time, no excuses. There's so many other things that you can cut out of your life to create space for that. So find the time, find the people, do your research, get online, find the top 100 producers around you, top 100 actors around you, find them, follow them, ask them questions. Somebody's gonna answer you, somebody's gonna give you a chance. That's the salesman in me talking, by the way.